I have many people to thank also. I've had a great tenure in the Senate. I'm very proud to be a senator, state senator. I pointed out to Governor Ronner when I nominated President Cullerton some years ago that the founding fathers envisioned the legislative branch as the primary branch of government. It's Article 1 in the Constitution. And I chastise a distinguished lobbyist, who's a dear friend, who appeared in front of the Judiciary Committee on behalf of the Supreme Court. He referred to the Supreme Court as having a very low budget impact, even though they're a co-equal branch. And I pointed out to him that they are not a co-equal branch. There is one primary branch, and there are two other branches that have different functions. And so they are not co-equal. And what I appreciated so much being in the Senate was the intuitive appreciation by Senator Cullerton and Senator Emil Jones and Speaker Madigan for the fact that this was the primary branch of government. Why? It's because it's open and accessible to everyone. You have open meetings, open consideration of bills, unlike the executive branch and unlike the judicial branch. And not to criticize, they have different functions. But I do want to begin by thanking President Cullerton, President Emil Jones. And young Emil Jones is correct. I took a lot of bad votes for Emil Jones as president of the Senate. In fact, after the election in 12, I was pleased that the Republican, Senator Brady, who ran the campaign of my opposition, did not focus on those bills. They focused on the two shiny baubles of the tax increase and my state's attorney pension. Failing to note, in fact, one of the people sent in by President Cullerton who did the opposition research on me said, "You were a great state's attorney, but some of your votes in the Senate are terrible." So he went through them all. How do you explain this vote? President Jones asked me to vote for that. They were really bad. And I want to thank Senator Brady, Senator Radogno, my dear friend Senator Watson, for their service and being open to my suggestions, especially Senator Watson, who helped me craft and provided votes for my levy bill, which is probably, I was told by several people in the Metro East, the most important infrastructure bill in the last 50 years. If you don't have a certified levy, you can't expand any business, insurance rates for business, commercial enterprises, residences skyrocket. And FEMA was no help. The Corps of Engineers was no help. I know they helped General Grant at Pittsburgh, but since then they've been really a pain in the neck. And Senator Watson provided the votes. I lost many downstate Dems, Senator Sullivan, a good friend, Senator Forby, a number of others, because the drainage districts were opposed to the bill, because I took the power away from them and gave it to a new entity. We passed a 1/4-cent tax without a referendum. I defied the laws of political gravity with that. And Senator Watson put votes on the bill. Luchtefeld and a number of others, because he saw the need for the thing to go. All the factories were on him. And of course, the AFL-CIO, these are all union jobs. I saw to that. And they were very pleased. But that bipartisan effort certainly paid off. And I always got the cooperation of Senator President Cullerton, President Emil Jones, and the minority leaders for that. But getting back to the legislative function, the denial of pay, the denial of by two administrations, one a Democrat, one a Republican administration, the attacks on the Speaker, the vicious attacks, all, in my opinion, I said this back home, indicated a basic contempt for the keystone institution, which is the General Assembly of the state. And the President of the United States is going to have to wake up and realize the profound nature of the Congress that he has to deal with, of his own party and the Democratic Party. That's my opinion for the day. But I want to thank also my dear wife, Anna. Certainly the President of the Senate got a lot of tax increase votes out of her. She comes from an interesting background, by the way, if I could just bore you with this. Her grandparents, they were stained glass artists, except for one son who went into medicine, became a legendary cancer researcher. They were artists, designers, mosaic artists. They ran a soup kitchen for the Catholic worker movement, funded it, staffed it. They knew Dorothy Day. Her father's family did the same thing in upstate New York. I went to a family reunion once. You had a dear cousin married to an African woman. They had 5 beautiful children. A cousin married to a Arab, Christian Arab, taught at NYU. A cousin who was a fiancé of a Jewish student. When they were arguing about Palestine, man, I just opened the beer and went in the other room. There was a dear cousin who married another woman. And then there was several, a Korean, another cousin married a Korean lady. They had 2 lovely children. So I came back home, and my former law partner said, how'd you like the family reunion? I said, I think I married into the UN. And of course, Anna, when she was growing up, she got in trouble once. She and her sister Martha, who's here with her lovely daughter Sarah, they were engaged to paint a barn. And they decided to paint a hammer and sickle on it. This is in a conservative rural district in Ohio. So her father got an earful and they had to paint it over, right, Anna? My family is much more staid and conservative than her family. But in any case, she's been a wonderful person to be with me during these years, the state's attorney years, which were much more controversial than being in the Senate. Really, being a state's attorney in a major county, especially Madison County, where the Bar Association, you go into the local Bar Association, there's a large picture of a barracuda on the wall, signed by the barracuda. They don't ask any quarter, they don't give any quarter. And my tenure on Insurance Committee, I appreciate Senator Severson's remarks and others. I tried to be very, very fair, and Senator Mulrow will do a brilliant job. He is much kinder and gentler tenure. But at the service on my other committees, license activities, Senator Martinez has done a great job as chair. The Jude Committee, criminal law, they've all been wonderful. And I must say, I'm very proud to have served in the Senate. I'm very proud to have served with you all. There isn't anyone in this chamber that I've disliked over the years. I especially thank Senator Oberweis for debating me on that steelworker provision. It helps solidify my heroic stature to the steelworkers. And of course, I want to thank the staff, our staff, of all those committees and many other committees who work day in and day out to give us the appearance of competence. And they watch out for us, and they write great legislation. Most of the statutes now extant are products of staff work. Their advice and counsel were irreplaceable. And the officers of the Senate, Secretary Anderson, Secretary Kaiser, and the staff, not only the Democratic staff, but the Republican staff, were a big help. Senator Ryder, who spoke, and before him, Senator Roscom, Congressman Roscom, and their work to point out the deficiencies of our bills was absolutely necessary, even though he was wrong more often than he was right. But it was a worthy intellectual effort. And I'm very proud, again, I've had a great career. I've had no complaints. Thanks to medicine and prayers and insurance, I'm still here. And I just want to leave you with two quotes that I've had in my office for years. They're calligraphies, is that the word? By another one of Anna's sisters. One quote is from Elizabeth Cady Stanton. "The moment we begin to fear the opinions of others and hesitate to tell the truth that is in us, and from motives of policy are silent when we should speak, the divine floods of light and life flow no longer in our souls." That's from Elizabeth Cady Stanton. The second one is from Thomas Aquinas, who wrote, "Among all the practical sciences, politics must be the principal one that directs all others, because it investigates the ultimate and highest good in human affairs." So you are engaged in a vocation of the highest order. Keep that in mind when you read these mailers that you get during the election season. And keep in mind one other thing that I've kept in mind, and I quote quite often in judiciary and criminal law. Louis Brandeis, Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States in the 20s and 30s, wrote that the hallmark of the law is reasonableness. It's not perfection, but it's reasonableness. That's why I was for that expungement bill. It's reasonable to give people a second chance. That's being reasonable. And never forget that your duty is to make the law. And Godspeed. I'll be looking at it from a distance. Europe, I hope. But I wish you Godspeed, and it's been a joy to be here these past 16 years. Thank you so much.